Good morning, everyone. Good morning, people on the internet. So, here we are. So, Scorpio, huh? So finally, as just a little astrological commentary that I learned about. Scorpio, Saturn's been in Scorpio for the past 2 years. With all the, shall we say, variation, intensity we've had. And then it leaves in about a month. But according to the lore of astrology, the last 4 months, the last 3 months, the last 6 months, that when these energies are in, like Saturn in a particular rasi, a particular house, particular dimension of experience, then it's like the whole whammy comes through. So it's very, very intense. And also it's a water sign. And so a lot of, on the elements that are very affected are the water elements, huh? And both in physical health and in all sorts of ways, huh? And so it's very, very intense with the water element right now as we see. So we're just going to start off for a few moments going into awareness. We're going to focus on everyone and also our companions. And their families who may be having difficulties right now. We'll also focus on Dan and his family. So glad everybody here this morning. We're going to start off, and Patricia's going to chant for a few minutes, invoking Rama and Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
So we've been focusing on purity, the purity of awareness, and how to understand that. And by chance, I gave a talk on Friday, the meditation, and I actually liked that talk. And I'm going to play that talk right now. You can just rest, take a break. But I'd like you to sit next, whoever you're sitting next to, I would like you to have a little bit of physical connection, a little physical contact, okay? And because there is a transmission that happens, and then I will be giving a paper to Amy who will send out, it's a paper by someone else on, some more academic on the history of purity, okay? And it plays quite a role for good and for not so good, huh? So we'll put this little talk on. You know it will, because Skip just fixed the whole thing. Oh, yes! I just fixed it. One, two. Here we are. Well, go back to suspending our mind just a little bit. And we suspend our mind in order to have free access to awareness. One of the first discoveries that yogis in various traditions made over time, was that their mind is distinct from their awareness. And many of the earlier traditions didn't know that. I wouldn't touch it yet. Many of the early traditions didn't know that. And they tried to work with their mind directly, to quiet it, to pet it, to cool it out, drug it out. And they tried all sorts of things. But ultimately it doesn't work. But then you had other formulations where they took this distinction between their mind and awareness very seriously. And they would invent different ways to suspend their mind, to pause it, to suspend judgment, to gaze, to breathe in certain ways. Where they weren't simply located in their mind or in a function of their mind, that they could begin to experience the nature of their own awareness, which is spaciousness. Knowingness is spaciousness. And light, knowingness is light. And knowingness is energy. was pure. Some of the earliest descriptions as people began to go beyond their mind was kadig, purity, pure vision, pure knowing. And what's great about this, didn't take 17,000 lifetimes, months, years, all sorts of preparation, push-ups, various and sundry things. But simply the simple act of suspending the mind. Years later, even in Europe, Husserl wanted to know about the nature of awareness, consciousness. And trying doing it through mind alone, he couldn't get beyond the mind alone. So he really learned to suspend the mind, the epoche. And from that, a great deal happened in Western philosophy, where people could experience directly the nature of their own awareness. And trying to understand awareness from mind alone, thinking about awareness, even thinking about it, it never has that quality of awareness, that purity of awareness. So a very most direct path, easy path as they say, is simply suspend your mind a little bit. And then you will shift and you become aware of your own awareness, which is pure, kadig. We'll do it right now. Suspend our mind, however you do it. It's like pause. Then naturally, there's this openness, some call it sunyata. There's this spaciousness, this simpleness, and this purity. And perhaps you're feeling it now. Your mind still might be running, around this way and that way. But you feel this purity of your own awareness. And this purity of your own being itself. So direct. Since awareness is the knowingness of our own being. And the other thing, when we try and just work with our mind alone, you may notice it's never quiet enough. There's always happenings when we're in mind alone. And our mind naturally responds. It responds to the present moment, responds to the past, responds to the future, constantly. We make that little pause. It's like inhaling. then that kadig, that purity, arises. Just as we are. Just as you are. Then, you and I learn to be in this awareness. We use a mind when we want to. And we integrate this mind even into this purity. We bring it in. And this purity, this awareness, this space, this light, this energy actually infuses our mind. We bring the mind in deeper, into the heart, because the source of this awareness is right in the center of your heart. It's so interesting too that sometimes people like to think that these understandings simply grew up by themselves, in one place, one country, one religion. But actually, it's all very mutually influenced. And one of the influences on Dzogchen, Tibetan Buddhism, and the same with Kashmir Shaivism, which both influenced each other, was the influence of the early Christian Gnostics, the theologies of the light. And especially interest for what we're talking about today was the Sermon on the Mount. The Gnostics like that a lot because of its codedness. One of the statements in the Sermon on the Mount of the blessings of the pure of heart, for they shall see God. And it's exactly the same thing as this kadik, this purity of vision, this purity of heart. Because as you and I enter this awareness, we begin to experience this awareness, this space, this energy, this light, this power, not only in our own self, but we can actually feel it in each other. Let's practice it right now. So this practice and experience of pure vision is completely innate and natural. And as we focus within our own self and experience this purity within our own self, even if our mind is going mad, we can experience this purity in others. This is pure vision. As awareness experiences awareness in everyone and everything. And as we do this, we experience the indivisibleness of this awareness, this field. Or as the Dakini said to Durjam Lingpa, you and I are indivisible. Not in mind, thank God, but in this awareness. This pure awareness. Actually in pure humanness. Then slowly we begin to integrate our mind, our body, our experience into this pure vision, this gnosis, this direct perception. And blessed are the pure of heart, they shall see God. They will experience indivisibleness, oneness. What's also really interesting about as this pure vision is experienced within our body and we embody it more and more, it fills our body, pervades our mind, and we experience it in the world. It actually allows us to see what's happening out there. That very purity of vision infuses our mind to actually see what's going on out there. It actually helps us see what's useful, what's terribly unuseful. It helps us see actions that are really wonderful and actions that are really terrible. It actually helps us see character. It's amazing. The purity of vision illuminates character in our own self, oh God, and in others. How else could it be other than pure vision, illuminating everything and anything? Then we don't have to walk around with one eye closed. Hear no evil, see no evil. That's not pure vision. That's naivete. This pure vision, this katig, actually holds intensity of all the elements. And even in the intensity, that purity remains continuously. It's amazingly stable. And perhaps you feel it now. Pure vision. The purity of your own awareness. And what's so great about this purity of awareness? Doesn't depend on your purity of mind at all. Doesn't depend on your purity of body. Some may not like this, but it doesn't even depend on the purity of your character. It's ever present. We often see it in children and babies. And then as we grow up, we start to get located in mind alone. And this purity of heart, we dissociate from it. Are we still there now? That purity? The mind, our mind, knows things, knows beings, knows form, knows through thinking, feeling, sensation, memory. And it's really useful to have one. Awareness knows being itself. That's what it knows. Being. Pure beingness. You bring them together. Then, through all the beings, you can experience being itself. And through your own being, you experience being itself. The great Dzogchen master, very contemporary person, says, liberation is knowing phenomenal existence as all-pervasive purity. That all appearance, in its essence, is pure, because it is being manifesting itself in so many infinite ways. Then he goes into what purification means. He says the basis for purification lies in the precious enclosure of your heart. Because within the heart is the very center of manifestation. Of light. In certain traditions, people are asked to see their teacher as pure. And they consider pure vision is seeing your teacher as pure. And in a very conventional way, not the way we've been describing this, because it's great to see a teacher, everyone else, your dog, the purity in your dog and in your teacher. But in a rather concrete way, you have to see your teacher as being pure, totally pure in mind, totally pure in moral behavior, totally pure in knowledge. Their knowledge is more pure than yours. Dakini's laugh. Totally pure in infallibility of judgment, like a pope. El Papa. Totally pure in compassion, totally pure in discrimination, totally pure in all action, totally pure of character, totally master of the Dharma. Wow. That's the one who knows, who really knows. That is not the purity of vision. The purity of this awareness in your own being and in that being. The purity of this awareness is equal vision, equality conscious. No up, no down. No above, no below. What is in you is in me also, completely. No steps. Complete. So when you have that type of imposition, one way to understand it is another manifestation of patriarchalness and theocratic framing of the path to purity, which is so, so close. As Hegel described in his great book, Phenomenology of Spirit, when there is this mutual recognition of this awareness in each other, then a quality consciousness arises. When it becomes asymmetrical, then he called it, one enters lordship and bondage. And you want to understand this through the purity of your own awareness, illuminating your mind and my mind. The guru is also completely associated with purity, huh? The pure guru. And when you concretize that in a teacher, you're concretizing much more than that awareness. The guru is our own awareness. The guru is that pure vision. And the Guru liberates us as you embody it from bondage and lordship. Immediately. So we'll remain in awareness of this awareness. And we'll just focus right above the heart. And you can be experiencing that with your companion. Let's remain in this for a while. I'm going to read just a little bit from Dzogchen Lingpa's text on translucidity or Togo practice, but it's actually translucentness. And it's really not necessary to know this, but it's a little bit more of an esoteric elaboration about what we just spoken about. So the basis of purification lies in the precious enclosure of your own heart. And that is which is called the Gati crystal. So he's making a connection between this purity of our own awareness and how we can perceive it, not only within our own self, but within everyone. So this Gati crystal, like a pipe, channels, and it resembles a thread of white silk and extends from the heart into the eyes, which is open-ended. So this is a metaphor I'm saying. This is not a third eye phenomena. It is human seeing. It's not third eye. It is the very nature of our perception. So this enters the eyes, which are open, and it's open-ended. And in the hollow center of this channel are the essences of the elements, which can be experienced as the different lights. And within this light is the expanse of all the particles, the light particles, which are the essence of the minor elements, like water. And these lights are the self-awareness nature of the kayas, the different dimensions. potentiality. And this wisdom is abiding, this gnosis is abiding as the very basis for the arising of this luminous, precious Buddha nature. Buddha's not a guy. This Buddha nature is this knowingness, unbound knowingness that manifests everything and anything, including me reading this, and at this moment you hearing it. It's all simultaneous. So relying on this path of awareness, of one's own awareness, allows for the qualities of the spontaneously present Sambhogakaya to manifest, leading to the state of the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and the Manakaya. So what he's saying here, as we allow ourselves to enter this awareness of this pure, luminous, this actually brings forth the unification, the oneness of the archetypal dimension and the Dharmakaya dimension and of ordinary life experience. Then he says this, and there's no one way of doing this, this is one way. If you focus, so as you gaze with squinted eyes about a cubic's length from the objects, it could be either the sun, the moon, a light, or a crystal, or actually any object. The luminosity of pure space will arise. The luminosity of pure space arises. Like rainbows, drawing of beautifully patterned silken brocade. And within this expanse, the luminosity of the open bindus, those points of light, those vortexes, will arise as spherical, S-P-H-E-R-I-C-A-L, halos of light. And these are the outer luminosities. The inner luminosity is the far-reaching water luminosity. And he's bringing the water element into this. And the water element is the gateway to which the light directly appears to us, both within ourselves and everything. The luminosity of self-originating prajna, prajna means direct perception here, is the basis of the arising of the light. So it is the nature of awareness as the spontaneous presence of the three dimensions, the three kayas. So the very nature of awareness is the spontaneous presence of these dimensions, which are light. As you practice, as a person practices focusing awareness on this expanse of space and light, the radiance of awareness will appear. At times this is called the Vajra chain awareness manifestations. This is not the only way it appears. And this at times resembles extended thread of gold. It's dazzling, limpid, subtle, and it undulates in constant motion. And all of this initially appears to be mobile and tremulous. It vibrates, sometimes limpid, sometimes not. So he's describing a little bit of sometimes you start to see in space or in phenomena these threads. Sometimes it's like horse heads or a knot of thread of golden light shimmering. Or sometimes it's simply the sense of spaciousness, luminous space. And sometimes it's the light around the phenomena. So like just gazing with your eyes sort of closed but not, just like in Qigong, sort of closed and not. That's one way. Another way is leaving your eyes wide open as much as possible, gazing wide open. Like you're breathing in awe, gazing. But all these are incidental to the natural state of being in awareness, focusing within our own body on the purity of our own awareness, just like we're doing now. That is the most direct way, the most simple way. And it's immediate. And part of discovering that is freeing ourselves, slowly but surely, of the confusion of our mind and awareness. Paradoxically, we want to differentiate, know that distinction. It's really the essence of Dzogchen. You want to know that distinction between your mind and awareness. It's also a form of a lot of experiential therapies, etc., etc. But to know that difference between my thoughts, my feeling, sensation, and then this awareness. Then once we get more or less established within this awareness of the purity, we start integrating our mind almost immediately. Before we end up this component, I want to make one statement, since we've been focused so much on this topic of the purity of the teacher. I want to describe one day when Lama Norla was here, perhaps the very last time he was here, and he was talking about that tradition, I think, that Shangpa tradition, which is a mixture of Dzogchen through the Bon tradition and the new translation Kagyu traditions. It combines them beautifully. And his one of the masters of that tradition. And so in that tradition, they often have, please mingle your mind with me. Were you there when he said, please mingle your mind with me? Now often lamas don't even meditate with people. In a general way, they don't. But mingle your mind with me. So I remember, this would be great. So I mingled his mind with my mind, and my mind disappeared. And there was pure awareness, ongoing. And the longer we held that conjuncio, then the more embodied that pure awareness takes place. That is the purity of the teacher. And it's also the purity of you and I. And as long as you have a moral attitude towards this, which means you're not worthy, you're not enough, you have to do something else, you have to do more, you'll be waiting for Godot. for a second. Without hope or disappointment, focus your awareness from within your heart to your eyes. And from your eyes to within your heart. And then you open into the world. Practice this way with diligence and continuity. And as you meditate upon the appearance of luminosity, this will all become very familiar for you. So we'll sit like that for another minute. And so let's now turn to our focus and again work on each other as couples and working with the energy. We've been working from a tantric view, which is actually the pure view of integrating everything into the purity. Say yes if this is making sense to everybody today. So let's focus together. Pairs. Yes, pairs. So let's stay in awareness. And we'll focus back to the purity of heart. Now, if I'm still stuck in my mind, and if I'm still stuck in my mind, and I think I have to purify my mind to get to this, what's going to happen for me? If I'm still stuck in my mind, and if I think I have to purify my mind to experience the purity of awareness, because that's how some traditions think. You with me? If I think I have to purify my mind in order to experience the purity of heart, what's going to happen? This is called cutting through. This, what they call tracho, cutting through. This is one of the first things you cut through, huh? You want to free yourself from all your preoccupations with your characterological difficulties. I'm serious. And you want to free yourself from earning anything out of goodness. Goodness will not bring you liberation. That's not just me saying that. Goodness will bring you goodness in your life. But it will not give you liberation. So let's stay with this for a moment. Being the personification of evil will not bring you liberation either. It will give you the results of evilness. So we'll focus in for a moment, suspending your mind. Once you have a sense of suspended mind, and the mind is exactly there like it always is. And the mind, as Winnicott and others describe, is a function of history. You suspend your mind and you'll focus on the purity of heart again. And it was so great, if your heart is sort of pure at this moment, you focus on the person who you're with. You can see the purity of heart in a person. You can feel the purity of heart in a person. This is the fast. And you can see it from your heart, and you can see it from your eyes. There's a heart-mind connection that almost comes like a triangle, a heart, mind, or a triangle, and then it goes to a point in front of you, the point of vision. Say yes if you're following what I'm saying. And then you will see the purity, and you'll know it. Sometimes people see it, sometimes they know it, sometimes they might see images that reflect it, because we all have different capacities. Now, as you feel that in your companion, notice what happens to you. That is a mysterious conjunctio. Now, you can integrate your mind more or less into this purity of your own heart. We often think, and many traditions think this ad nauseum, to the point that you want to vomit, or at least take a shit. They think that if everything's pure around you, pure clothes, pure food, pure house, pure this, and pure that, and pure words, you will then have purity of awareness. You do know that, right? Freeing yourself. And the purity of heart is the pure Guru in you. So you'll take one more step, and I would like you to focus on yourself as the Guru or the Dakini, whatever that means to you, the feminine knowingness with that person, male or female. And then, if you can open your eyes, feeling the interconnection from the channels to your eyes, from that place of your heart, just gaze into that person. Hold and tolerate it. As you experience stability arising, you may notice if you're seeing the radiance manifesting in the phenomena, in him or her. In your mind, you can have all sorts of feelings about this person. You can like them, you can dislike them. Those affects do not have to interfere with your perception whatsoever. When you do a practice like Vajrakalaya, which is a practice of using the light to dissolve configurations, either in yourself or circumstances or person, this is the posture that you want to be in. Purity of heart, purity of vision, experiencing that both in yourself and the person. Then that power through the indivisibleness of pure awareness can take place. Other than that, it's another karmic activity. Say yes if you understand that. We're going to take one more step. When working on the sexual energy, I would like us again to tolerate and bring forth the sexual energy, however you do that, or even sexual possibility, because that is existentially always possible in this world. And you hold that. And then you integrate that energy into the light of awareness. Without integration, everything has its own mind. You follow what I mean by that? You're integrating everything into this awareness state. And then you can see what happens as it unfolds, as the life force unfolds. I'm going to pause for a minute. What's also interesting, none of this takes a long time, does it, huh? It's all very fast. So I'm going to ask Patricia to share her experience if she doesn't mind. Any aspect of this experience?
My experience of the moment is that it is so valuable to hold it all, to hold staying with myself in my own heart with that vulnerability, not leaving that place at all to figure anything out, to go with any story of, and integrate that with my identity as the guru, and then yet again with my identity, with my sexuality, my sexual energy. It was so valuable and powerful to just to practice staying in it, not leaving at all. And one of the things that happened during the experience when I was extending to skip is I was able to experience underneath the personality level, nothing to do with personality, essential qualities in Skip that make up his essence. And there were images that went with that. And it was like going underneath any Nirmanakaya to who he is essentially. And that was very exquisite as well.
Thank you. As you were talking about the vulnerability, as these early yogis and were focusing on this kadig, this purity, one of the first words that arose for them in their culture, so to speak, which is a group of people, was one of the words was indestructible. Huh? That vajra, that this purity, though it is indestructible, and simultaneously and paradoxical, they also use the word naked awareness, really, like being naked, which has a vulnerability to it. So it's holding these simultaneous experiences of one, this purity, huh? Totally pure, totally open, unbound. And then arises a sense of indestructibility, unborn, undying, timelessness, and then simultaneously moving through the vulnerability of that as naked awareness, and then simultaneously experiencing indivisibleness in that same moment. And it's all very simple. And there's an arising of experience, of gnosis. Say yes if that's making sense to you. I'm going to ask Elizabeth to share her experience.
Well, what you just said is so resonant with my experience in that there's this delicious freeing of any persona, all the different layers of definition of Heidi and me, and all the ways that I know Heidi and all the ways I know myself feel like they're dissolving as we gaze into the pools of purity of essence of each other's eyes that are infused with that heart, that heart energy. And then when you asked us to bring the sexuality into it, I just felt like all of our cells blended together into that indestructible. I just felt like the power that came from that, the indestructible power that came from that fusing. And the fusing had nothing to do with losing myself, or it's just such a different realm of awareness. It's a fusion that totally empowers and totally frees both of us.
Exquisitely described. Stay focused for a minute. I'm going to ask Anna, who's here today, what's your experience so far in San Diego?
I've experienced thankfully shifting out of my mind, which I've been struggling recently to hold or understand polarization in the world.
Mm-hmm. She's shifting out of her mind.
Hanging out with European anthropologists, kind of been fueling my polarization.
Welcome to America, Trump land.
I had lost any possibility of seeing purity in
No.
And I went to listening to you with this holding, how is it that there is purity in it, and shifting out of that. I experienced that indivisibility, and I'm not any closer to understanding my surroundings, but I am with it in a different way.
Great. Notice the difference. You don't even have to put it to words, but notice the difference of your experience. Thank you. Let me ask Steve, how are you doing? What's happening for you? Welcome.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you're fine. We can hear you.
I have been working with Kathy on the internet.
Great.
The experience, at one point, when you were talking about that triangle.
Mm-hmm. The triangle.
The eyes and the heart and reaching out.
Yeah. The object, yes.
And what happened was I experienced all of that from her back at me. And it was so intense. And I took that intensity, and I'm holding vulnerability in one hand and indestructibility in the other hand. And that was when I really experienced both of our deep energies together, and holding the vulnerability and the indestructibility. It's like our chest just
Yes.
burst open.
Like that. Picture the line. That line pulling his heart or her heart open. Yeah. What's that like?
It is, and I'm in that experience now, which is which I want to hold, and I want to be in the world this way.
Yes. From the Dzogchen frame, and there's many frames, many as we want, more than enough. But the purity, kadeg, is perhaps the simplest. The simplest and so immediate. I'm going to pass the mic to someone else. Hi, Martha. Welcome back to us.
Thank you. With Jen, I was experiencing when you were talking about the purity of heart, I just felt this vast blue sky in her chest, just this vast stretching. And I felt that in me too.
Is it still there?
Yeah, yeah. And it feels, when you said naked,
Naked, yes.
you know, that is a very vulnerable place to be, and it was like being able to tolerate that and
Tolerate the nakedness.
and be, yeah, and just be, well, pure.
Pure.
Yeah.
Just pure.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let me just bring it back a second. So, and so many of these words are really experiential words, like you read naked awareness. What's that? Well, I'm going to pause for a moment. Welcome back to the seminar. What's your experience?
Gazing into Lynn's eyes, her whole face, it sort of became like an abstract painting, not literal anymore, but just places of love and deep connection. And when you mentioned the sexual piece, I had this incredible sense of relief that as I felt the integration, that there can never be any lack. There's no deprivation. There's just, it's all there all the time, and it all these parts of ourselves just keep flowing together, and they get expressed in all different kinds of ways. And I just experienced a fullness and a joy, really. Deep joy.
Thank you so much. Just pass it. Here we go. What do you
So the gazing into each other's eyes was a continuation of sitting next to Marilyn during the talk. And when you mentioned the sexuality, I just got a heat in my lower belly, so hot. And then it started to like literally burn. It was so hot. And then there was a red shooting light all the way down into the earth, and then it shot back up the back of my spine and came up and way over our heads. And then I was worried that Marilyn might not like it. But I said, oh well. And then and so it's still happening, and that red cascade of light, it turned into a giant snake. It's like this giant snake up the back of my spine and it's just hovering over top of us, like.
Is it open? The head open and behind it? The crown?
Of the snake? Yeah, and the mouth is open too, and it's just this red snake, and it's just up there like a snake charmer snake.
So, you're talking. I remember when Skip, not last week, the week before that, that suddenly he understood that this when we're working with sexuality, it truly is an archetype, huh? It's not just a psychophysical response. It is an archetypal dimension, huh? And again, the archetypes, how to integrate them, how to live with them, and how to use their power. So you're just articulating in such a great way, huh? the archetype of the Kundalini Shakti, which is often experienced as a snake arising with that ancient symbol, and it's also this capacity to be open in the channel, which initially the sexual energy is so powerful because it's our sexual energy, but it's also the sexual energy of the earth itself rising through us, and it has a stunningness to it. And as you hold it and tolerate it, so it's going through the different dimensions, including some Bogakaya, and then it becomes you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, well, after she said that, I all the energy she was talking about, I would go into my heart, and wonderfully enough, my mind would keep quiet, and that in itself was valuable. And then when extended to her heart, it's like nothing else was going on. I could sense all that. I could feel the energy coming in the back of my head, and I thought, oh, I have more breath. But I couldn't have the breath unless I shared it with you, which was really, I got that we are one world, just 100%. And I just stayed in that, don't leave the world, don't individualize, really. I mean, you do, but the power and the courage and the joy is in that worldly connection, not alone and drying up. Yeah.
Thank you as much as the yogis and Shiva. The bliss of samadhi is the bliss of the world, Mm-hmm. And so this is a unfolding of eminence, embodiment, and the eminence arising from within, and it's not transcendental otherness. And they both are valid. They mix in certain ways, but in these frames of these embodied awareness, the transcendental arises out of the awareness state as vast openness. Let me have welcome, Barbara. Welcome back. Would you mind sharing your experience?
Thank you.
So, since you mentioned Baba, what occurred to me was that gazing, we spent a lot of time gazing at Baba, and we spent a lot of time gazing at photos and images, and we do with other images, and gazing at Robin was exactly like that. It was exactly the same. There was no difference between gazing at Baba, gazing at an image of Baba, gazing at Robin, feeling like I was gazing at myself as I was gazing at Robin. And she was infused with so much light, and I felt myself infused with light. And the sexual energy part, what I'm noticing over these last several weeks is how much easier that is to move up. And that when it becomes very literally to me the Kundalini, I see the serpent, I feel the serpent, but it just moved up very, very easily today, very quickly and very easily.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Alex over there, our youth.
This was very enjoyable because it started out and it had the quality of like a dream, but it was I was here. There was no separation like in a dream. It wasn't a dream. And so I'm with Amy, and it's that kind of the difference between my mind being the filter between her and I, and realizing her or I as we're going through this thing, just kind of the way that a dream unfolds, that you don't predict it or you don't know it, and that was really very it was just very nice.
What's it like to feel yourself in that indeterminate moment?
Initially, kind of the realization of it's a little a bit of a transition that scares you, And past that, it's very, I don't know, it's like summer. You know, you don't have a plan for the day, and you just kind of see what happens.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So here we are. So we'll sit quietly again for a few moments. We'll suspend our mind just a teeny bit. If you want, you can focus on your lower chakra and place your 3 fingers or your wrists there, like from Duja Yudroma. And you extend the energy down into the earth. And as you extend down, you also extend horizontally out into the room. And subtly bringing in the energy, the particles, the subtle energies, maintaining that kumbhaka. It brings refined perception, right? Then we'll hold that. We'll bring it up. We'll put our finger over our left nostril and bring the respiration, not so much the air, but the stuff, into our bodies, into our heart. Then we do the same thing with the left hand. We'll put our finger on our right nostril, breathing it in. And see if you can feel the change that's taking place now for you. This is really not working on air as much as the subtle respiration. I'll hold that. We're going to pause. And so it seems like we're in a very serious time, doesn't it? So, with this, and we're starting this seminar again today, right? And I do know it takes a lot of effort to get here. Time is the real fee, isn't it? Time. So I'm going to pass the microphone around. I would like you to tell us why you want to be here. Okay? And it's not like a goal, but why you are here. One more time. And you can just, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. I start on the left and go around, but we're going to make it brief, right? Because I'd like everybody to have something to say. Why you're here. Or how come you're here? Or what's going on that you are coming here.
So the past few weeks, and this sort of feeling it most acutely in the past few days, there's like a burning desire to go further, and it feels like I've just barely begun.
On a Nirmanakaya level of content, what I need to say is that for the past 27 years, no 2 Wednesdays have been the same. And that's one reason I'm here. It's never the same one week to the next. And similar to what Skip said, with each passing day, I have an increasing burning passion to go forward on my path. And everything belongs is what we do here. Creation, the purpose of creation, everything that is in our lives belongs. So I connect that deep longing to keep moving with the conviction and the trust that all my situations and circumstances are serving me. And we all gather with that conviction. So that's also why I'm here.
Thank you so much. I'll just pass the mic down to the next person.
The recurring validation of this, the strengthening of the experience of this for the strength and courage to be more in the face of what appears to be ever increasing trouble.
For me, it's quite simple. This is so deeply life-sustaining and filling. And while I get those moments in my life, I get supercharged here. And as I gazed into Lorette's eyes, it was like looking into a universal soul. And I don't get as many of those experiences outside of here as I might like. So it's a deep well for me.
Coming here is always like coming back to the source. And I feel the support. I need the support. And I'm always curious, more and more curious about how much deeper I can go and how much more I can feel who I am.
Thank you so much.
It's hard to put into words why I'm here. But let me do what I can. Having been away from here over part of the summer, I realize how the support of this community and of the taking the time to turn inward and at the same time feel connected is really an important touchstone for me. And so that's why I'm here.
I definitely come partially for the experience of exploring my own awareness and finding out what else there is that can be accessed and then bringing it out into the rest of the life. But also, it's just such an amazing place to be here with people that will share that openness at the same time, and to have an environment where I can explore inside of me and inside of someone else at the same time and learn those connections to take other places. I can't even imagine where else I would find that, and to be part of that community is something I really have cherished really quickly.
For me, it's having a place to deepen my sense of awareness, my experience of energy, of connecting to somebody else deeply and to myself deeply, to be able to practice weekly and to have a community to practice with in person, and to grow and explore myself and others that way.
I come here because I feel that it's important, and I'm still here because I'm hoping that it's positively impactful to every contact that I make in the world.
I come here because I'm addicted. In a really good way. Or maybe the word is habituated. But I've gone beyond the addiction. Yeah, I've gone beyond the addiction quality. And there is something that I get here which is priceless to me, which is the ability to integrate the practices that I've heard about, read about, done, and fully integrate them into my own experience without assigning them to a particular system. And the ability to take ownership of that and do the exploration and feel the help and support of not just all the human beings in this room, but the beings and the archetypes that exist, that are fully present here. And to take all that and embody it is just an astounding experience.
I'm here because I love being here. I love it from the first time I came, and I've just continued to just love being here. And very, very slowly, year by year, I feel that I'm just understanding much more of who I really am and what things really are, and identifying the real self from all the noisy stuff, and just how to live with that. It's getting me where I want to go, inch by inch.
I've really been thinking over the last few days about being here for the year. And yesterday I realized I remembered when I was 5 years old, I found out that they were testing animals to make makeup. And I was horrified. And I said to my Mom, we have to do something about this. And and to the point where she took me to someone who would help me get the petitions and figure out that we needed to go knock door to door. And luckily my mom was in sales, so she went with me door to door. And I talked to people about how we had to find out, which companies we were using for the women in the household for makeup. And what I find here is the opportunity to take that burning desire that I had when I was a little kid to figure out what wasn't working in the world, what wasn't right, and be able to open doors that are really right. And I think what this community has the ability to do, unlike communities that I've ever been part of, and honestly, I've never really wanted to be part of any community in the way that I want to be part of this community, is that we're all out to really make a difference in the world. And I appreciate what each of you bring in your unique ways to helping me access who I am and how I can make a difference in the world. And I want to be part of that for you. And that's why I'm here.
I love it. It feels like coming home each time. It's like clouds part, and the essence of what is real just manifests each time I come here, no matter what is going on. And I'm really aware that changes are happening each time. I liked what Patricia said about 27 years, no 2 Wednesdays are the same. And I feel very much the same.
So today when I was working with Barbara, topography came up for me, and that's what I want. That's why I'm here, to experience and participate in and revise and sit with that vulnerability and feel all the topography changing and experiencing, as you said, summer.
Well, it's a nourishment that I get nowhere else, and I didn't want to say it's about food, but in a way it is the same thing. It's like the best restaurant in town. I'm so sorry I said that, because I don't mean to, but you're doing good. You're doing good. But that's all I could think of was, you know, how we sit here and we just kind of drool with deliciousness when we get there. And I just, that was the only way I could really express it. And the other thing that I appreciate as much as the spiritual nourishment is that, and I kind of check the democracy of it. I don't know, I don't figure the way a lot of people here do, and that makes no difference. And I can feel that I can bloom and be the individual and yet take in the nourishment of the rest of the universe.
The seminar feeds me, and I know, it came, anyway, it feeds me and it pushes me, and it's a stable center for my week. And the weirdness of the relationship, I absolutely love everybody here and feel like I know them. And if I saw any single person in this seminar 10 years from now, it just would be so delighted. And yet, there's only a few people I actually have their email address or know their story or even know, if they, where they live. So it's a weirdness that I love.
Well, I'm here for all the reasons you all have mentioned already, mainly because I love it. I love what's happening for me. I love you all. And what has come to me most recently is the reflection of purity coming back at me.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here as a constant reminder of self-recognition, not the ego, not that, but the self-recognition of that of the reflection of awareness reflecting like mirrors. And then I so love the different frames that we're introduced to here to help with the touch of the finger that touches the next person, like ripples or waves, so that I can experience that appearing in others. That's why I'm here.
I am here to dance.
not alone, but with others together on non-conceptuality. And I haven't found a better place to do it than here. I'm here to open more and to embody more.
I'm here because 27 years ago when I first met you for the interview for the 2-year program, I walked out of here and I couldn't find DuPont Circle. And I'm still looking. No, the real reason I'm here is I get on the subway on Wednesday mornings and it brings me here. And I'm not stupid.
You are not stupid, Tom. I am here because I love claiming my own awareness. I love deepening my awareness. I love how the kayas, I do feel this fruitional moment. I feel in my own self this intermingling of the kayas in a way that I've not experienced before. And I love moving forward and cutting through with all of us here right now. And my real what arises for me, my aspiration is as I become that vehicle and I really claim that indestructibility, that power, then I have that for myself, for my family, for every being I come in contact with, and for offering that to the light of the world, to the entire world. And that's why I'm here.
Wow. I'm here for so many, all of the reasons everyone's has given. I love being able to offer to my family now that I feel much more grounded and feel that I actually have had real experiences. I used to have a checklist of all the experiences I should have, go to India, get enlightened, check, didn't happen, but in here I get to experience, like in my body for the first time, really experience this sense of my separateness and my not separateness, my duality and my non-duality, and I get to experience and then mingle with other people. That support of this field in here is absolutely vital for me, and I know I always have it. I always have it with me, and it's always here.
I'm here because I am incredibly grateful for the teachings, and I need them. And even if I were to study them on my own every week, it wouldn't have the impact it has of coming here. And I'm here because it strengthens me and it makes me far more aware of who I am, so that I can go do all the enormous work I do in the world in a way where I'm sustained. And I'm here because the practices continue to rock my world. It rocked my world when I walked in 6 years ago. I was like, oh my God, what are these people doing? I want in on that. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I wanted in. And it still rocks my world. And the experience today with Martha is I was having the same experience that she was perceiving and feeling, of that vast stretching horizontally. And for me, what was so important is, unlike others who are talking about a fusion, it was a really clear differentiation, like this is me and I'm going out and that is you, and that feels great to have that clarity of boundary for me. So for my own growth, this is the most important place I find. So thank you.
So I feel a lot of gratitude to be able to come here every week
and be with all of you and learn and grow the way that reaches so many places within myself that I never would have known if I hadn't come here. And I'm very grateful for all the unreveling or revelations that are given to us. And I just love celebrating with all of you in ways that just bring out the best in all of us.
I feel so much love and gratitude, and I feel safe here. I feel connected in ways that I couldn't even imagine, and I feel respected even in my limitations. And there's an expansion and a contraction constantly going on inside my being, and here I'm always feeling expanded. And there's that delicious feeling is something that I can carry with me. I feel so much gratitude that I started in this basement so many years ago when I first moved to Washington, D.C., and it meant so much to me to be here, and here I am again, and just what a beautiful, beautiful cycle, too. And I'm so grateful for this community and for you, Rudy. Thank you.
Keep going. I come here because it keeps me. I don't want to say sane because that would be an exaggeration, but it keeps me in like the realm of reality, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful for that.
I'm here to be with other contemplatives in the field and to go deeper and deeper into awareness. I'm in this very special environment that I don't find anywhere else. Thank you.
I'm here out of love because I love everything that this meeting offers me. I love that I feel like I'm coming home every time I walk in the door. And I love that the world is completely new every time I leave.
I'm here. My deepest aspiration is to be fully alive while I'm still here. And this is a place where I can be all of that and have such terrific companions and guidance in staying alive and going for the aspiration of living fully in awareness with love and compassion and wisdom. And I'm very grateful to be here again.
As a very Shakti aware person my whole life, coming here to the center was like not feeling like an oddball for the first time in my life, and just having that that co-emergent experience where over the years the Shakti awareness evolved into the radiance and the light. And I love how the seminar is always evolving as we evolve, and we evolve as the seminar evolves, and it's such a wonderful touchstone and nourishing place, and like Diana said, a deep well. And I'm so grateful for all of you, and it's especially precious now as we don't know how long we'll be together on a weekly basis, how many more years, there's that awareness of that. And so this year I'm just so embracing it wholeheartedly and feeling just how precious it is.
I know we're running low on time, and feel like I could go on for days about this place. But to me, I feel like coming here feels like the key to life. Like all those questions you asked when you were growing up, like, what is God? Or, what is it all about? What's the secret, to life? And what it is what we learn here, about awareness and just your consciousness and exploring those realms within yourself and in the universe. And for me personally, it's just been, invaluable. I can't even express how grateful I am to have found this place and to be here with everyone and to keep learning. So thank you.
This is my lab and my ashram. This is a place for self-knowledge and exploration and fun. And the integration of projection and reflection that is happening here is not found many other places. So it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
When I learned to meditate, I found the passion of my life. And for many years, I practiced by myself. But the first time I walked into this place, in this space, it was magic. And it was if a piece of myself, who I'd been sort of working through my practice and so on and so forth, all of a sudden, everything opened up. And it just it's fabulous. I love being here, and it carries me always deeper and deeper. And to have suddenly found a group that in many ways it's incredibly non-personal, as somebody pointed out, and another way it's so intimate. It's so incredibly intimate. And to be able to together move through, learn, expand, and just learn to be, it's magnificent. Thank you, Rudy.
So it's over 12 already, so I'll be super brief. For me, it's been life-changing to be here. And I'm here because of desire to go further. I feel like I'm a mirror, and when I come here, it's like this super reflection back. And it also helps me then during the week with my practice.
Thank you so much.
Well, I am tremendously grateful for this basement. And when I came to this basement, my life literally blew up, and I grew up in this basement over again. And this seminar for me is like a dream come true, in that it truly is a rainbow of energies and a rainbow of paths. And in that, without any monastery, without any lama, without any external guru, we have the opportunity to find the rainbow paths within ourselves and to practice that and to live in a world that's so dualistic and so hardcore manifest, and to visit this field every week lets me know on every level that that is the truth.
Thank you so much. We got a few more moments. So Kathy, why are you here? Or why are you there? Why are you here? Where are you, Kathy? And you look great today, by the way.
More through intention. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. And Liz, Welcome. Yes, we can, yeah. Thank you so much. Steve, why are you here? Or there?
Because the minute I enter, I experience my essence. I experience deep down my energy, which is so connected to and part of, at the same time that it's separate from everyone else's. It's that holding both sides. I joy of it. I experience great joy.
Thank you, Steve, so much. Dan, welcome this morning. Welcome, Dan. Dan, there, he's coming on, Dan. Glad you're here this morning with us. Thank you, Dan, so much. Anna, why are you here?
I'm here because of love. I love you. I love the work you do. I love the group. I love the view. I love what is behind you and how I can experience traditions, or that feels that they don't belong to a religion, but I can experience that in me through this work. I love the kind of craziness and unpredictability of it. So articulated, and gives me a way of understanding.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad we're all here. Yes?
I have an announcement.
Yes?
To celebrate this community and all of us here, especially Marla. It's her birthday on Friday, and Friday night there's a chant at my house. I sent out an
Oh, great, great.
Please, everyone come. There's plenty of room. It's going to be rocking. It's really going to be great to chant together.
Great.
And especially for Marla.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. And I'm here because I love it. And I love being here with you all. And I love the Guru. And I love the presence of the Guru that's here. That's not me, which is really great. And I know the Guru comes through all of us. And I love the Guru. And I love the work and the manifestation of the Guru. That's where the magic is. And everybody that's here, though you come, in a certain way you're invited. In a certain way, everyone here is invited. And I don't take anybody's presence here lightly. And that's why sometimes I feel like I'm the guard dog. You know, those temples have the guard dog. And it looks very informal, but it's quite the opposite. So with that, thank you guys. This will be a year of fruition. There'll be a lot of intensity, huh? There's going to be so much intensity. But we have the capacity that this will be a year of fruition for us. And also, Sharon and I are, exploring what we're going to do. Do we move? Do we stay? We're here summertime, and this is all totally in flux. You probably know as much as we do. Though we're getting the wall painted this week, okay? But one of my hopes is that when Sharon and I are not here, that in some way or other, that some form of this center continues. Because I know it's not just me, and I know it's just not Sharon. I know that. With that, we'll rub our hands together, place it on our hearts, and we'll see you guys next week, or maybe Friday. Thank you. Oh, there's no Friday meditation this Friday, but I will have Dakini today, I think. Probably I'll just go upstairs, but they're going to be painting down here on Friday. Thank you, guys.